Hello ladies and gentlemen, Porkchopper here, and welcome to the fourth of my Affinity overviews, looking at all the new cards in each Affinity. I have done Order, Knowledge and Growth, this being Death, and Chaos will be out soon enough. If you enjoy these kind of videos and all the type of videos I will be doing going into version 42, which will be deck guides, new hero guides, absolutely everything you can imagine, stick around the channel and subscribe. But today we're going to be looking at the Affinity Death. Like every single Affinity, it has a unique trait. This one is called Cursed. What Cursed cards do is, one of the more simplest ones is that they basically, once you equip this card, you cannot discard it. It means you are stuck with it for the rest of the game. So the first card is Taskmaster, with the effect Cannibalize a Minion. Sacrifice an allied minion and regenerate health equal to 6.1% of its current health. It has a 120 second cooldown, 64 mana cost, and costs 1000 gold. That means you can pick this up right at the start of the game. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth would you sacrifice an allied minion with such a high cooldown and mana cost, and being the first card you would probably get? Why would it be worth it? Well, let me tell you why. First up, as a support hero, this can be an amazing card to keep your minion wave in your favour, to keep sacrificing an allied minion whenever you have the chance, to make sure the wave is pushed up against you, denying the enemy offlaner farm, if you basically just want the wave pushed up in your favour to overextend the enemy. Then we have Execute Minions and the card Call of the Week. Basic attacks execute enemy minions below 14.2% max health and costs 1 agility, can get right at the start of the game. This card is primarily focused on those players that struggle getting last hits right at the start of a game, mainly for carries, as last hits are most important for you. If you struggle, this card means that you can execute minions without much of a worry, as 14.2% below that is not too hard to actually aim, so that's pretty good there. Something I'm quite interested about is it says execute enemy minions. Does this also mean jungle minions? If this does include jungle minions, this could be a really good card for a jungler to pick up early on to make sure they can efficiently clear camps really quickly. So something to test out there, but a pretty good card if you just struggle to farm. Then we have Tyra Strider with the effect Structure Rush. Give you extra move speed when near structures and costs 1 vitality. I believe I tested this out and people have tested this out in the PTR. When it says when near structures, this means enemy structures as well, which is quite the deal. Probably would this card maybe if you're an offlaner, as you're pretty much going to be hugging your tower for the majority of the early game. They stay highly mobile, so it's quite easy for you to move around near your tower. Also, maybe if you're the kind of jungler which also likes to really heavily tower dive, this card could be really beneficial there, making sure under towers you can catch an enemy up and finish them off. Then we have our first cursed card being Devastation, which you cannot discard once you equip it, giving you some power and the effect Ruin Power. Gain 1.8 power when an enemy structure is destroyed, costing 1 vitality and 1 agility. Now this card doesn't seem to be that good early game, but does have some sort of decent scaling. If you're able to destroy plenty of enemy structures early on, mostly those tier 1 towers, this card probably could be quite good, but I just don't see how effective it would be because it doesn't give you that much power, and the next card I'm about to talk about actually gives more power than this card probably would give you for the majority of the game. And that card is Lord Volstock, which gives you 12 power off the gate and experienced. Every 10 seconds, gain 9 experience and lose a certain amount of gold. Again, this is a curse card, so once equipped, you cannot get rid of it. This costs 1 intellect and 1 vitality. If you want to be very ballsy, this is the kind of card for you. You cannot get rid of it, so this is going to be stuck for you for the rest of the game. If you're the kind of hero that benefits from having early hero levels, say an offlaner or support, if you want to get as much experience as you can to level up quickly, get level 5. And again, this is definitely one of those early game cards where you want to use this card to level up as quickly as possible hero wise, but means you won't be able to get much gold wise, so hopefully you can push that advantage on. And you're hitting max hero levels, this card is just going to hurt you so much. So definitely a very high risk, high reward card here if you choose it on the right heroes and the right team composition, so you can end the game rather quickly. Then we have Possessed Spry Kin, another cursed card. This gives you 120 health, 6 power, and a very simple effect, regeneration, giving you extra health regen. Overall, this card is basically just giving you some really good early game stats. For the cost that once you get to late game, this is going to be pretty useless compared to some late game cards, but I kind of like it. It's just a really good stat card early game if you want to pick it up. Then we have Invader Mage, giving you 13 power and some spell penetration, which means ability armor penetration and costs 4 intellect. This is the only card in the entire game that gives you ability armor penetration. So if you want some ability armor penetration, you better buy this card. Then we have Pestilence, another cursed card, meaning you cannot unequip it. 480 health and 8 health regen with Sacrificial Aura. Remove 3% max health per second from yourself and each nearby enemy hero. Disabled if no enemy heroes are nearby, and costs 5 vitality. So this is a very interesting card because it's a percentage on max health. Just because they have less health doesn't mean they will die quicker, because it's just a simple percentage of your health. But does mean if you're near a tanky hero, they will lose more health than you over time, but it will still be the same percentage. So that's a very interesting card. I mean, the main benefit of this card is that it's from each nearby hero. If you are near more than one enemy hero, this will generally benefit you overall, but if you're near those enemy heroes for 10 seconds, that's a whole 30% max health gone from you and the enemies. So it's going to be an interesting card, again more of a high risk, high reward card. Then we have Guard Piercer, which is 16 power and the only basic armor penetration card in the game, costing 5 agility. Just like the other one which gave you ability armor penetration, this gives you basic armor penetration. So if you want any type of armor penetration at all, these are the only 2 cards in the game that you give this. So if you want that ability penetration or basic penetration, you need Cursed Affinity. Then we have Vile Stepper, one of my most favourite cards in the game, giving you health regen and basic armor, and the effect Smoke Screen. Enter Shadow Plane for 1.8 seconds after passing through a fog wall, and has a cooldown of 6 seconds. Again, the stats may not be exact, we won't know until the full patch is out. This costs 2 vitality and 4 agility. So this is going to be mainly a jungler's card, as pretty much getting to any lane in the game you have to pass through a fog wall, and with the lack of vision now in the game, I believe junglers are going to have a lot of fun with this card. Enter the Shadow Plane, you go through a fog wall mid lane, you go into the Shadow Plane, sneak up behind the enemy hero, gank them, kill them, rinse and repeat on every single lane if you can, and if you're effective enough, and if the enemy team doesn't see you have this card and doesn't counter it well enough. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this card, and definitely one of my favourite ones so far. Then we have Warlock's Burden, giving you health and sacrificial magic. Lose 5% of your max health and restore 1.2% of your max mana per second. The card costs 3 intellect and 3 vitality, and I'm not sure it's meant to have the cooldown there, but I'm not sure. But it's a pretty cool card if you are more of a mana kind of hero rather than health. You don't mind losing your max health, but rather restore your max mana, and maybe you have a certain way to regain your max health if there's a certain card or a certain ability that helps there. This could be a quite effective card there. Then we have Finder of Playthings, giving you mana regen and power, and the effect Unholy Gaze. Target enemy hero to reduce attack speed by 18.4 and move speed by 61 for 2.5 seconds. In addition, reveal all enemy heroes for 6 seconds. Has a 120 second cooldown and around 100 mana cost, costing 4 intellect and 2 vitality. So when it says target enemy hero, it means it reduces their attack speed and move speed for a few seconds. I wonder if this means they have to be within a certain radius or within visual sight, or it could just be across the map. It's kind of hard to tell with this, but we're going to have to wait and find out there. And also with reveal all enemy heroes for 6 seconds, it doesn't say nearby enemy heroes, so I presume that means all enemy heroes on the map get visually seen if you activate this card. Really good against a Kalari or really any vision if you're wondering if they're taking All Prime or something. So plenty of opportunities of this card, can get really creative with it, and definitely one of my favourites. Then we have Swamp Stalker with power, attack speed and isolate. Deal 21 bonus basic damage to enemy units without a nearby ally, costing 7 agility. Very straightforward cards here. Basically, if you're going to be mainly a split pusher by yourself because you can't have nearby allies near you, bonus damage to enemy units. This also does include Raptors and or Prime, I believe, and probably jungle minions as well. This is going to be a really good card if you just want to be a pure split pusher hero, and maybe a few other opportunities there. We're going to have to find out. Then we have Unstable Purification. Purify yourself and deal 46 ability damage to nearby enemy heroes per negative effect that is removed. Has around 120 second cooldown and 100 mana cost, costing 5 vitality and 2 agility, and has ability armor and power. So basically this is your main Purify card. There's another one I believe in the Order Affinity, but that's more of a percentage based on your basic attacks. This is a straight up, you can 100% Purify yourself for this card. Also has an extra bonus of being able to deal ability damage to nearby enemies per negative effect removed. So if you're getting slowed, have an Aurora's Roll triggered on you, and maybe burnt as well, if you activate this card, that's a lot of ability damage and an AoE effect. But the main reason you would use this card is to make sure you can purify yourself. Again, against Aurora's Ultimate, this is probably going to be a must there. Then we have Wound Seeker with some power and attack speed, and the first Blight card of the game with Hunter's Blight. Basic attacks now apply Blight to critically wounded targets for a few seconds, and also Hunter's Pierce. Ignore basic armor against critically wounded targets. This card costs 2 vitality and 6 agility. If you don't know what Blight is, I believe right now it's reducing all healing by 60 or 40%, I cannot remember on top of my head, but that's what Blight does. You can get right up to them, they won't have any basic armor nor a way to kill them, and means it's a lot easier to secure those kills. With reduced basic armor, this is basically going to be more of a melee kind of card, I feel, but a very good card nonetheless. And then we have Shadow Dancer, which has basic armor, power and Shadow Ambush. Enter Shadow Plane and gain 13 move speed for 9.2 seconds. Attacking an enemy from the Shadow Plane applies a 400 movement speed slow for 0.6 seconds. Has a 45 second cooldown and 100 mana cost, costing 6 intellect and 3 vitality. Really simple cards here if you want to be more of a stealthy hero, mostly again stealthy jungle kind of hero. I can see this being really good against, or maybe if you're against a Kalari, it can be a great counter there. Kalari goes into the Shadow Plane, you activate this card so you can visually see where she is and be able to catch her up and hopefully kill her off. Also going to be amazing for ganking as well, like a Vile Stepper early on. You can invade the enemy jungle, pretty much do anything you want as long as you aren't seen, and also applies a 400 movement speed slow to them, so this can be a really good initiation card for melee heroes. Then we have Numbing Rogue, giving you basic armor and power with the debuff aura attack speed. Very simple, nearby enemies have their attack speed slowed by 3.4%. The card costs 7 vitality and 2 agility. Nothing really else to say here, more of a supportive card in a way, a bit weird, but basically if you know that enemies have a lot of attack speed stuff, this could be quite beneficial, but I don't really see it being that much. More for frontline heroes, if you're going to be right near all the enemy heroes, it would be good, but against 1 or 2 enemy heroes, I just don't see it being worth it, being quite expensive. Then we have Awaken the Emeric, giving you health regen and power and the effect Toxic Horde. Convert all nearby minions to your team and grant all nearby minions Death Touch and Drain Life. Has a 200 second cooldown and 130 mana cost, costing 6 intellect and 4 vitality. Now I'm not a fan of this card at all, because this card on the PTR was really strong, because what people would do is they would ignore when the minion waves were clashing, move past them and go to the next enemy minion wave, convert all of them so they can instantly push an inhibitor or tier 2 tower without a problem. Plus with the extra Death Touch and Drain Life, it became a significant issue, so I'm hoping that doesn't become a thing in the new update, but I'm sure people are going to work out how to use this card effectively, as you could split push so deadly with this card. Like I say, you can ignore the minion waves attacking, go to a big minion wave, completely activate it and turn it against the enemy team. Then we have Withering Shadow with health, power, and the effect blood damage aura. Deal 85 ability damage to yourself and 52 ability damage to nearby enemy units per second. 3 intellect and 9 vitality. So if you have ability armor, this card would be quite nice because it won't be doing as much damage to you. This is very similar to the cards Mad Spore Stash and I believe Radiant Mantle, where it does a little bit of ability damage in an area of effect, but this card means that it deals ability damage to you as well. So it's a bit of a sacrifice there, but it's a more late game card. If you want to build a bit more tanky with ability armor, this would be quite a nice card and purely pretty much for farming. Then we have Nameless Curse, giving you mana, mana regen and power with the effect Toxin. Deal 30 damage per second to target enemy for 18 seconds. This damage cannot kill the unit. Cooldown is 100 seconds and mana cost is around 130. This card costs 9 intellect and 3 vitality. Now when it means target to an enemy, I presume this means hero as well, but this card could be really good as a damage over time effect. But this is going to be a really cool card to help wave clear, maybe with Orb Prime or Raptors. It could be a really good card, maybe similar to Blood Soaked, but this is going to be a really nice card, a long period of time. I cannot wait to see this one in action. Then we have Plague Lord Mallenk with mana, health and power, and the effect move speed slow aura. Slow the movement speed of nearby enemy heroes by 73, and also Blight aura. Nearby enemy heroes have Blight. Again, Blight reduces all healing by 40 or 60% and costs 8 intellect and 4 vitality. This is going to be a really good card if you're going to be a pure tanky frontline hero. If you get right into the middle of the fight as near as many enemy heroes as you can, you're going to reduce the movement speed from them, and also Blight Aura means they cannot get all the healing they want, so any support healing cards or anything of that is going to be really affected. Really good card, not much of a damage focused card, but really good support / frontline tank card. Then we have Vampiric Blade, giving you health, power and attack speed. Overflowing Feast, gain 92% lifesteal for 3 seconds, has a 100-second cooldown and 130 mana cost, and also a little extra 6.1% lifesteal, which is a passive. This costs 4 vitality and 9 agility. I believe this is the only lifesteal card in the game, so they are heavily reducing lifesteal in the game as much as they did with cooldown once they introduced Monolith. So pretty much if you want any sort of lifesteal, this is the card for you. I mean, mainly for carries, this is going to be a really good one, but again, I just don't see it being that worth it now unless you really want to build some lifesteal in your deck. Then we're on to Grinning Spectre, giving you mana and power and creeping depth. Launch a slow moving projectile that deals 184 true damage. If this brings targets below 15% max health, they are executed. Has around an 80-second cooldown, 130 mana cost, and cost a whole 13 intellect, so a very high end card here. Now I'm going to make an example of a hero who has 2000 health. 15% of that 2000 health would be 300 health. This card deals 184 true damage. Now when it means true damage, I believe that means it ignores all armor and will always do this damage to an enemy hero. Say for example, I am a hero that has 2000 health, however right now I have 450 health available. If this card hits me, that means my health from 450 will go to around 270, which is lower than 15% of my maximum health, which is 2000, so that means I will get instantly executed. So that's just a quick example maths wise how this card would work. I'm going to work out the full maths of it once I can get my hands of it, but it seems a really cool card. Then we have Sorvukk Initiate with health and ability armor and sacrificial link. Create a link with an enemy hero. Both heroes take 4.9% max health in ability damage per second. Continues until link is broken by distance or interrupt. Has around a 45-second cooldown and mana cost, 3 intellect and 10 vitality. So basically this is kind of the card where you want to link to the hero, which is going to get a bigger sacrifice off this than you. If this isn't going to affect you that much, if you're more of a tanky hero or really want to just sap the life of an enemy team out, this card is going to be amazing. Linking this to a carry can do significant damage if you're more of a tanky hero, that's for sure. But we're going to, again, it's one of those cards where it's just, you've got to really wait till we can get our hands on it fully to really test it out. But I really like this card, very unique and something that I'm sure people are not going to like in the game. But that about does it for the whole of the Death Affinity. Like I said, I am using the core.gg, so do check this website out. I'm a really big fan of it. But basically Death is very much similar for more damage caster kind of heroes, with a few interesting jungler cards and a lot of shadow plane stuff, plus ability and armor penetration cards in the game, plus I think the only lifesteal card in the game, and some very unique cards. So it's definitely one of my more favourite affinities. The only thing I don't like is the cursed trait. I believe the cursed trait cards are just not that good enough, and that's something which I believe they may need to tweak to make them a little bit better, because this is a big sacrifice having these cards the entire game. But that about does it for list 1. Like I said, I'm using the core.gg, link is down below in the description for that. Chaos is up next, Done Order, Knowledge and Growth, which hopefully the playlist should be linked below, or you could just instantly check it out on my channel. Thank you very much for watching, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.